Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Grow Yourself podcast. My name is Liel, and it has definitely been a while since we've had an episode, but I'm so excited. Today, the weather was so perfect that I decided to go to a park. I'm sitting right now on a bench where I just finished the most delicious salad. We had a salad bar for lunch today in seminary, and it had literally all my favorite things: sweet potato, quinoa, chickpeas. It was so delicious. So I'm sitting here. I feel satisfied, full. There's so many birds chirping. I love listening to the sounds of the kids playing next door to me. There's a school, and it's just so peaceful here. I just wanted to share with you, this past Shabbos, I volunteered on a Yachad Shabbaton. In case you don't know, Yachad is an incredible organization for adults with special needs. And I've done a couple Shabbatons like this in LA before through other organizations similar. But I was really excited because this is going to be my first Yachad Shabbaton in Israel. And people tell me there's nothing like them. I signed up without really knowing who was going to be there. So I was excited to make new friends. I was really looking forward to the Shabbaton. A few days before, someone asked me if I would be willing to share Dvar Torah. So, like I always do when I have the opportunity to speak, even though it freaks me out, I said yes. In the past, when I usually have to give a Dvar Torah, I always go right to my dad. Because, my dad has a couple more years of experience than me. But this time, I decided, you know what? I am 18 years old, and I am going to figure this out on my own. Even though it's going to be in front of 100 people who I've never met before. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with asking for help. Asking for help is a great thing. I just felt like for me, in this moment, this was something I just needed to do. So in class on Thursday, my teacher, Rev Bramson, shared a really nice idea that really spoke to me. But then the question is, how do I actually give it across? How do I come up with relatable examples and make it interactive and fun? My instinct was, call my dad. He'll have the perfect ideas. But I used every ounce of self-control to hold back. I didn't call him, and I didn't even tell him I was going to be speaking. I just kept asking Hashem, please put a good idea in my head. Just give me the words. I go to sleep. I still have no idea what I'm going to be sharing on Shabbos. Finally, Friday comes. I get on the bus. I sit down. I open notes on my phone, and I'm like, okay, now, Liel, is your time to think. Let me tell you, it was not easy, but after an hour, I finally managed to just do my best and come up with something. I went over it in my head a couple times, and finally, on the Shabbaton, when it was my turn to speak, I got up there with all the butterflies in my stomach, and I just gave it my all. Here's a little taste of what I said. First, I knew I had to get them with a hook, so I started with a question. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a Marvel movie. And that is how I got everyone's attention. Then I talked about how we always think superheroes are the greatest people ever because they save the whole planet, they save kittens from trees. I don't know why every superhero just has to do that. Or maybe I'm just thinking of Mr. Incredible. Definitely love that movie. But anyways, in this week's Torah portion, Rivka was actually greater than all the superheroes because she didn't have to do something so huge and heroic. When Avraham is looking for a wife to marry his son Yitzchak, he sends his servant out, Eliezer, to go find a girl who's outstanding. And Eliezer travels on this long journey, and he's exhausted and tired, and he's sitting by a well. And then Rivka comes along, and all she does is get Eliezer and his camels a drink of water. Who wouldn't get their guests a drink of water? It's something so small that you don't need to get credit for. She didn't do it to get a gold medal. She just did it for the sake of helping another person. And by doing something so small and ordinary, that is how we become extraordinary. And I thought that is such an amazing message. And then, as I'm speaking, all of a sudden, an idea just pops into my head. And Hashem literally gives me the idea, why don't you go around and ask some people if they want to share if anyone this Shabbos did something nice for them, or if they did something nice for someone else. And so I go around, I call in a bunch of people, and it was so amazing to hear their answers. And it was also nice to make it interactive and everyone got to participate. And afterwards, people were coming up to me, telling me how much it impacted them. They enjoyed it. They loved how I got everyone involved. And it was the most rewarding feeling. I learned that I'm able to do something that I didn't know I was able to do before. Every single one of us is actually capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. A while ago, if you would have asked me if I could write a Devar Torah on my own without my dad's help, I would have answered 100% not. But the only way I was able to discover that I actually could do it was because I said yes. Saying yes to opportunities, especially when they scare us, is the only way to reach our full potential. That is how we grow ourselves. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Grow Yourself podcast. My name is Liel, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye!